Planning on going and watching Jake's Leg. I think it's 5 o'clock. Going with some of my 79er buddies. So Jake's Leg. Let me go back. Let me tell you how long Jake's Leg has been around. So in high school, because it had to be high school, they used to play at a bar in St. Louis called Calico's. Now, most of you probably never heard of Calico's, don't remember what Calico's is, or don't even know that Calico's ever existed. But they used to have two or three different Calico's in different places. But the Calico's that Jake's Leg played at, that we would frequent when I was in high school, was down on, I think it was Laclede Avenue. So right down by St. Louis University. We would go there, and I was probably 17, 18, maybe 19, but basically all those years, as long as they were at Calico's, we were going to watch them, and I think they would play Thursday nights. Maybe it was, I'm pretty sure it was Thursday nights. Maybe it was after high school. Maybe I was in college. We'd go down there on Thursday nights, and we would shut the place down with Jake's Leg. It would be packed. You can imagine how young they were. I was 18, 19, 20, something like that. And they would go, the Calico's had a little stage in the back, and it would be, there's a little enclave down, then the stage went up, and then there's like a little balcony that you could wrap around it. You could maybe fit 100, 200, 150 people. I mean, 100 people would be a lot. Place would be packed, standing room only, and Dave on his lead guitar. Dave wasn't Jerry Garcia, but Dave was really, and probably still is, a really good guitarist. I don't go see him anymore. I just don't go out that much. But in the day, we would go out a lot. And every Thursday night was Jake's Leg at Calico's. And later they moved it down to another bar called 20 North, which more of you who are familiar with Jake's Leg, who is a Grateful Dead cover band basically, would be more familiar with 20 North Van Deventer, which they had a big to-do with St. Louis U about what was going to happen with that property. But at Calico's, we wouldn't let them leave. We wouldn't let them end the night. I think the bar closed at 1:30, and we would keep them playing till right before the bar closed. I mean, they'd stop playing, and you would have to leave the bar. It was so much fun. They were so good. Dave, they had a great bass player. Jim was the bass player then. Dave was on lead guitar. I don't remember who the drummer was. It may have been Izod. Randy was the acoustic, the lead. I would call him the lead. We'll call him the lead vocalist. But Dave was the show. Dave, the lead guitar for that band, was and the bass player. Jim was a great bass player. So much fun. What a great time to be in St. Louis and be alive and to enjoy the music they made. I'm sure there's some bands out there somewhere that are having as much fun, that are as good of musicians as Jake's Leg were in the day. But for the moment in St. Louis, it was a great time to be alive. As I've grown older, the Rolling Stones were always my number one rock and roll band, but as I've grown older, I've come to realize what great poets, the Grateful Dead, I think it's Robert Hunter and Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir, what great poets the Grateful Dead actually were, and Grateful Dead has now eclipsed. When I write it down, the Grateful Dead will go down as my greatest rock and roll band in my lifetime. So I know Grateful Dead, the Stones may have had more hits, may have been more popular, but when I go back through my life and I think about the moments that Grateful Dead touched me with their songs and how poignant and wonderful their songs were written, the Grateful Dead win. For maybe I should just break it down to the American rock and roll band versus an English rock and roll band, because the American rock and roll band didn't bend a knee to King, as opposed to the English rock and roll band that did. All right, everybody. So this is a show It's called Two Tracks. So we'll start out with the 2 tracks of Grateful Dead or Rolling Stones, but we're going to go 2 tracks that our country's on right now. And I just got done doing a show with Jay Delsing, which was awesome. Jay Delsing, just a PGA pro, St. Louis, great St. Louis guy, classmate of mine from St. Louis U High, 79. Just wrote a book. You wouldn't believe it if I told you. And it's a great book, great read. Just got done reading it. Just got done having a podcast with Jay. Great read. If you have time to read it, it'll walk you through a 25-year PGA career of somebody that just enjoyed life, enjoyed his time. He's instrumental in the Champions Tour out at Norwood, and he's been a great St. Louisan. Honestly, kind of like Stiefel, he's unrecognized for what he's meant to St. Louis over the years. But what a St. Louis asset Jay Delsing is. And kudos to Jay for a life well lived. You can't really say anything, I don't think you can say anything better about a human being than a life well lived. And Jay's had one. And all right, so 2 tracks. So Jay, at the end of our show, Jay talked about Dr. David Sinclair. And I haven't looked up Dr. David Sinclair, so I don't know. But I know the technologies I've been exposed to. Because one of the other things I do for a living to try to make money for side gigs is I have a company called Tech Rep. Well, Tech Rep goes out and tries to find new technologies that are going to change the world, and that's why my podcast is called Kingdoms Evolution, because I'm always looking for technologies that are going to change our world. I found a great one in LifeWave. I thought I'd found a great one I did find a great one in a company called Anavex, right? That had this drug that really helps the body respond to CNS disease, to mental disorder, by agonizing your sigma-1 receptor, which is a pluripotent form cell in the human body that stabilizes and balances out your calcium channels. It's an awesome drug. It's in FDA approval process, hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, the FDA approval process, I won't get into it, but they're on track probably to release it right after I'm gone. Right after I'm gone. But that's life. It's all right. But that's why I started Kingdoms Evolution, because there are things out there that are coming our way that will change our world, that are changing our world. And that's the 1 track, right? The things that are out there that are changing our world for the positive. LifeWave, absolutely game changer for life. LifeWave is coming out with something that is going to change every day. You're going to want, every single human being is going to want a LifeWave water machine. You're going to want it. You're going to want it. Whether or not you can afford it is going to be the only decision that you'll make. Because why wouldn't you drink a glass of water every day that gives you 4 or 5 hours of renewed energy, that puts light into your body, telling it to be healthier every day with 1 glass of water? Of course you'd want that water. Why wouldn't you want that water? You would have to be literally brain dead to not want that water. So LifeWave is about to change the world in ways we can't imagine. We can't imagine. Really, we can't. And maybe that's what Jay was saying. Dr. David Sinclair is working on as well, which would be fantastic. It won't mean that you won't want your drink of water before you do whatever Dr. David Sinclair is doing. You'll absolutely want that drink of water. So there's another company out there called Earth Vision. So let me tell you what Earth Vision is about to do. Earth Vision is about to change. You won't believe some of the stuff I'm telling you. Earth Vision is about to eliminate oil from plastic. And you go, well, how is that possible? Well, they're going to use bamboo, or they're going to use all these things. So whenever they've tried to take plastic off the marketplace, or styrofoam, anything they've tried to use has been 10 times more expensive. And so it just doesn't make any sense to make a styrofoam cup that you throw away, but it's more expensive than the glass, right? So one of the things about styrofoam and plastic is it's relatively speaking cheap. I'm not talking about relatively, we've got lots of space for landfills. So it's cheap in the effect that we've got some place to throw all our trash. But if we didn't have that space, and it's not cheap for the ocean, plastic isn't cheap for the ocean. Plastic, styrofoam isn't cheap for the land. In the overall scheme of things, plastic and styrofoam are not cheap. They're cheap for us right now because they're cheaper to make. But there's a cost as we go along that's going to add up. This Earth Vision it's called alchemy. So I've got two companies that are involved in alchemy right now. And what is alchemy? Hey, Justin,
Yes.
look up the definition of alchemy. ALCHEMY. So I've got two companies right now that are intimately involved in alchemy. And what is alchemy? So alchemy used to be like when you watch the medieval movies and the wizard would be out there and he's going to turn hay into silver. He's just like, that's alchemy, where you change one thing into something else, which it's got, elementally impossible to do. You can't do it. I've got two companies that are alchemists that are literally changing the molecular structure of things that we know: water, plastic, chipboard, bio waste, starch, biostarch.
You like the definition?
Yeah, of alchemy.
An ancient philosophical and proto-scientific tradition that explored transformation of matter and sought to understand the nature of the universe. Practiced in various cultures: China, India, Muslim, and Europe. Alchemists sought to achieve goals like transmuting base metals into gold, creating an elixir of immortality, and finding pancreas, spiritual and philosophical worldview.
Okay, thank you.
So transformation process.
So isn't that awesome that in the book it lists two of the things?
Immortality.
Immortality. So LifeWave is coming out with a water, and let me just, because it's hard. I was explaining it to somebody, and I was like, "You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you." It's just like you're just not going to believe it, which is okay. I get that you don't believe it, but here's the beautiful part about LifeWave's water: is in 15 seconds your body reacts to it. So you don't have to believe it. You just drink the water, then you'll believe it. They don't have the water yet, but it's coming. It's coming. 100% people respond to the water on a clinical basis. This is people they've got their clinicals before they drink the water, and then they got their clinicals a minute after they drink it, and it's done. It's not just people telling you the water tastes great. It's the water is great. This miracle worker named David Schmidt, he's figured out a way to take the biosignature, the BioLite signature of a lobster. And you say, why a lobster? Well, lobsters don't age. They get stronger with age. So there's something about the BioLite signature of a lobster that keeps it from deteriorating and dying. The natural process of being born, living, and dying. Lobsters don't live that pathway. Lobsters born and keep getting stronger. They die, but they can live 150 years before they die, or longer. The light signature that they emit is a BioLite signature. So what David Schmidt has done is he's taken 6 of these light waves that emanate from a lobster, they're biocode, whatever you want to call it, biocode. He's taken 6 of these light waves and he's infused them in water, in a water machine, so that the water machine puts 6 different light waves into your water every morning before you drink it. And these light waves, when you drink the water, are released into your body. They go to your brain, they go to your liver, they go to your heart, they go to your lungs, they go to wherever water goes in your body, these light waves go. These light signatures go, telling your body to be like a lobster. We'll all start growing claws and a tail. So that's coming. That is one track. Earth Vision, same track. Making the world better. Ending plastic. Being able to make things from bio waste, bio harvest, things that right now not food, but the words biostarch, the words leaving me right now. That not husk. Anyway, from bio things, not the food supply, but let's say corn shucks, uh, uh, not marijuana, but hemp plants. So hemp plants, the stalks, the things that you don't get a lot of use of, but using that bio waste, like right now that just decomposes somewhere in a pit, they can take that bio waste, they can perform their alchemy on it, and turn that bio waste into plastic, turn that bio waste into styrofoam, turn that bio waste into usable wood. It's coming. It's coming sooner than you think. That's the same track as LifeWave's on. So there's this track of humanity that is glorious, that is in touch with that I think's in touch with the spiritual world, but just it's moving this track to a better world. And then there's this other track. There's this other track, this unexplainable track. And it's just evil. But it's there, and we can't ignore it. We can't just they're both tracks. They're battling for the heart and souls of our future. And you look at one track and you go, it's glorious. It's all about humanity. It's all about being able to do things better, live longer, live healthier, live a better life, take care of the earth more. And then you see this other track, which is confused, which is about destruction, which is about burning things, which is about blowing things up, which is about hurting people. And you wonder, you look at them and it's confusing, right? So I'm 64, and it's confusing to me. And I know people that vote, that are for the other track. And they're good people. They're nice people. They're good people. But they root and they are ingrained in this other track. And they're diametrically opposed tracks. The train can't run. The train right now, both trains are going on the same track. So one track's making the world better, and one track's dedicated to destroying the track of the other train. So they're at a race. So like the one track to make the world better doesn't want to destroy. It's not about destruction. It's about making it better. We've got a universe, billions of stars, billions of planets, just like planet Earth, all across the universe. The creator of the universe has given us everything. Everything. And the track that's up here, the track that's on the above, is creating a humanity that will get to explore the stars in the heavens forever. It's a glorious track. It's a fun track. It's a track for humanity that the creator of the universe has laid in front of us that has nothing but great things in front of it. But this other track down here, down below it, it's running too. It's running and tearing threads and trying to destroy the track, get in front of the other track and destroy it before it can get there. Before this other glorious track can get there. And I guess the question becomes, can these two tracks survive together? At what point in time, At what point in time does one track destroy the other? And it's a great question. It's one that's what we're going to talk about this show. Where does which track wins, and why is anybody even on the other track? Why is anybody dedicating their life, their soul, their spirit, their energy to being on the other track? And that's what we're gonna talk about this show. And we've got a little bit longer to go, so that's what we're talking about the next section of the show. But in the meanwhile, I want to listen to some more Grateful Dead. Welcome back to Kingdoms Evolution with your host, Joe Finn. Hope you're enjoying the show. So the title of this show is Two Tracks. Talked a little bit about the one track. The one track is these unbelievable companies that are making our world better. The alchemists of LifeWave, the alchemists of Earth Vision, that are going to end plastics, that are going to bring life to water, make you healthier just by drinking a glass of water, H2O, nothing in it except light. And then there's this other track, this dark track, this track that lives and breathes in hate and pain and in the shadows, in the darkness. And you can call it classic good versus evil, because that's what it is. You've got part of society that wants to make everything better, and then part of society that just wants to destroy it, that wants to tear it all down, that somehow breeds violence and pain. And I guess the part of the show that I want to talk about is who is supporting the violence and the pain. Who are the people that are out there that want violence and pain? We all see suffering. Nobody's a knucklehead to think that capitalism, meritocracy, doesn't have its pitfalls. We all understand that in a meritocracy there is failure. I can attest to the failure of meritocracy. I applaud success, but I can attest to the vagaries of failure in a capitalist society. And I know there are people that can, and I college educated, went to St. Louis U High, had a great family upbringing, father, mother, everything was beautiful. And I struggle with capitalism. I struggle with it. Not just because of the taxes. I just struggle with the tenets of what it takes to be successful, of saving versus spending, of lending versus borrowing. You know, I've always struggled with it. I'm 64, still struggle with it. Still struggle with it. Still struggle with paying bills. Still struggle with all of it. With all of it. I know it's not easy. And I'm college educated. I was very well educated. I'm not that smart, but I was very well educated. I sat around a bunch of very, very smart people. I should have absorbed some of it. I know meritocracy and capitalism has its pitfalls, but I also know it's the only way. It is freedom. It is freedom in economy. It is the only way for the first track to succeed. It's the only way. And the low-hanging fruit of capitalism obviously is charity, of those people that have a difficult time in the capitalist, the meritocracy. There's charity of heart, charity of money, charity, and somewhere in there the government does have a role to play. We don't want people standing out on the street corners begging for money. We don't want people with no place to live, no food to eat. So there is some place where charity fails for the government to have something there. But we've all seen what happens, when the government gets involved. The government people start making money. That's why all your politicians are gazillionaires, because that desire to not have poverty, the government uses and abuses to steal your money, and the government becomes wealthy, and the government becomes powerful by tinging on your moral correctness. It's not the first time that's happened, right? It's probably the first time it's happened without them putting a gun to your head and taking your money, as the tax collectors used to do in Rome. But it's make no mistake, the tax collectors still have guns. They still can take everything you own. So it's not like it's a complete mercy thing. Charity is the way to go, but as government becomes bigger, charity becomes dependent on government, and then the government is the charity, right? So the government is a charity. We've seen that with these Catholic associations that brought all the illegals in, that took the government money to bring illegals in. You know, at some point in time, the charity gets devoured by the government because the government has endless supplies of printing money. So you always have to understand, like, so what is this other track? So like what is feeding it? What is feeding this other track? Because in capitalism, this other track should just be the vagaries of the failed, right? It should just be the people that weren't able, the handicapped, the people that weren't able to lift themselves up by their bootstraps and follow the relatively simple path of success. Save more than you spend, work harder to get more. So somewhere that lower half, the lower track, has been able to grow, and the way they've done it in my lifetime is through government spending. The bigger the government gets, the more evil has come, because they don't have to. They just take from the people on the first track, the good track, the people that are making things better, and they get rich themselves, and then they get other people rich that they know, and then they sprinkle fairy dust on the people that vote for them. So it's become a wicked, that track has become evil because of our government spending. And that's why they hate Doge so much. That's why they hate the people that are trying to stop the other track, cut it off from the funding. And that's absolutely what they have to do. They have to cut off the funding to the other track, so that other track has to go out and join the first track of making the world better by providing a service or good to try to make the world better. They may fail, they may succeed, but if they're not part of the first track, there is no financial reward in the second track, in the evil track. Right now, there's been a financial reward. Global warming, the Al Gores of the world, John Kerry's of the world. They've made money on the evil track of destroying our world, not making it better, but projecting to make it better, and then getting your tax dollars, right? So one of the beautiful things about Trump is he's taking the feed, he's taking the trough, and he's closing down the trough. Not quickly enough by far, but he's closing the trough. But as the beauty of this is, as he's closing this trough of government spending, he's opening the trough of American manufacturing, of American being built in America. So he's bringing trillions of dollars in, right, into our country to make it here, so that as we shut down this evil trough, this second track, as we shut it down, there's a place for the people that want to produce, that want to be part of creating goods and services that people want, that want a better life. There's a place for them to go, right? Because if there's no place for them to go, why would you just fight to stay on the wrong track, the evil track? But there's a place for them to go now. There's a place for them, and it will be here, making cars, making things, because of Trump's tariffs, because of what we're doing as a nation of making America first again, making America great again. But there are people so invested in this evil track. They've made their money this way, and they don't want to change. So they keep promoting this evil track as if it has value, as if we don't understand the projection and the lies that they're telling us. And I guess I don't really necessarily want to understand why they're on this evil track. I really don't. I don't want to understand it because it's evil. Like I never read Karl Marx's book. I never read Mein Kampf. I never read this idiot out of Chicago who was a quote-unquote organizer and about destroying Ploward and Priven, destroying our government through bureaucracy. I never read any of their stuff because I'd rather read the Bible. I'd rather read Trump's books. I'd rather read something that's about making things better, about making myself better, not about destroying things. If you're reading about destroying something, it's probably not good, right? It's probably not a healthy read. It's probably not something you need to be putting in your brain when you could be feeding it with good things, with people, the alchemists, the things that are going to make our world better, like Earth Vision, like LifeWave. But who are these people? Who are these people that want our world to be worse? That want this track that's evil, that's trying to get out in front of the other track, the above track, and are trying to derail it. Well, it's the media. But why? Why is the media bent on hating America? Why are people at CNN and ABC and The View, why are they bent on the destruction of humankind? Why are they bent on having our world be worse for our children as opposed to better? And you can go, you just say they're bad people or whatever you want to say, but I don't know, I think I don't want to say it's unfair. I just want to say that's not productive. That doesn't solve the problem. Calling somebody bad doesn't solve the problem of them doesn't stop them from doing bad things. The question becomes, how do we minimize and destroy that lower track so it never gets in front of the first track, the above track, of making everything better, of making our world better? How do we destroy it? So one of the things that we've done, one of the things that Trump has done, is he's taken away their money. I love that. You take away, because they're not producing any good or service. They're not creating wealth. They're just stealing wealth from you. So one of the things you can do is take away their wealth. Love it. PBS, just take away their money. PBS now has to go out and create a good service that people want. Who are the people that are promoting transgenderism? Like, that's evil. I'm sorry. People that are transgender aren't evil. The people that are promoting transgender, you can't change your gender. It's just that simple. You're born a boy, you're born a girl. That's never going to change. You shouldn't want it to change. You shouldn't be that dysphoric that you don't understand that maybe you're different than other boys, but that doesn't make you a girl. It just makes you different. And being different's okay. Being different's okay. How do we take their desire? So they want a better world for terrorists, for gangbangers, for people that rape and kill you. They want a better world for them. They want a better world for people that are confused about their sexual identity. They want a better world for them. But in the same breath, they want your world destroyed. They want the Christian world destroyed. So who are these people? What group of people would want that? Well, it would be thugs, right? It would just be thugs. When you think about it, it would just be thugs that want that. Thugs that want to take away from you, from your good or service, from what you've created, and take some of it for themselves, and then give it to other people that support them. So how do we stop these thugs from having a future? Well, number one, as people see the above track growing and getting better, as people see this above track, it doesn't mean that capitalism has gotten any easier. Capitalism is still hard. Capitalism is still tough. You still got to pay the bills. You still got to pay the mortgage. You still got to do all these things. So how do you overwhelm the people, the thugs that are teaching your children that they can be any sex they want to be or animal that they want to be? How do you stop them? How do you stop them? Well, maybe by encouraging it. Part of it could be encouragement. Part of it could be encouragement to see the wealth that's being created, the joy that's being created, the livelihood that's being created by the first track. So that could be part of it. Just just inviting them in, just inviting them into a better way, a better life, a more joyous world. So part of that will siphon off some of the thuggery. But the people that are traveling to El Salvador, the people that leave dogs to starve to death in a laboratory that they were torturing, those people aren't leaving the thug world. Those people need to be adjudicated. They need to be their justice. The first track needs to find a way to not let them be successful in their endeavors, because their endeavors are evil. So I think justice, the Constitution, is a beautiful document of governance. And the Constitution needs to be used to fulfill that governance in a humane way, but in a humane way where the first track wins and destroys the second track. One of those ways that I would, and I'll end the show with this, Abraham Lincoln and FDR used what's called the suspension of habeas corpus. And what that means is we're at war, and your rights are somewhat suspended as a citizen because we're at war. Now, Joe Biden let in 20 million people. No idea who they are. We know that 13,000 murderers, convicted murderers in other countries, were allowed into our country. We absolutely have to suspend habeas corpus until those 13,000 illegal alien murderers are found. We should suspend it today, because the judges, and the judges are on that, some of these federal judges are on that second track. They want evil to succeed. I don't know why. Maybe they're getting paid. Maybe one of the judges has a lot of property where the illegal aliens are paying money for rent. So if you take away their rent, take away their money, quit supplying money for illegals, you take away their energy, their power. They've got to pay their bills for good things, and they don't get it from bad things, so they got to figure out a way to do good. So self-interest is always a great way to start. But these judges, Trump has got to suspend habeas corpus. We're at war. And here's my last pitch on why Trump should suspend habeas corpus. Forget the murderers that were allowed into our country by Biden. 20 million, 13,000, 20 million illegal aliens. Along with those 10, 20 million people that Biden invited into our country are out-and-out terrorists, Islamic gangbangers, just out-and-out evil people that are here to destroy our world. They are at war with us. They're at war with us, and they are in our country. How many Chinese Marxist soldiers came across our border? Saboteurs came across our border under Biden. They're still here. The Islamist terrorists that came across our border, they're still here. The gangbangers and the illegal aliens that rape and murder, they're still here. It is insane to think, with the way the federal judges are acting, the way our media is reacting with going to the way our politicians, our Democrat politicians are reacting by going to El Salvador to bring back a gangbanger into our country. That's from El Salvador. That's in El Salvador. And they're going there to bring him back. It makes 100% sense. We are at war. Suspend President Trump. I beg you. Suspend habeas corpus. Suspend habeas corpus until we find out where these terrorists are and we get them out of our country. Until we find out where the Chinese saboteurs are and we get them out of our country. When we find where these gangbangers are from Venezuela, from El Salvador, wherever they're from Mexico, and we get them out of our country. Get them out of our country. Suspend habeas corpus for 6 months. Suspend it. Take the federal judges out of it. Let your ICE, the military, whoever has to go in and get these bad guys, because they're well armed and they're bad guys and they'll kill. They will kill. And if we don't get them out, they will kill us and terrorize us. We've got to get them out of our country. We've got to, this is the only way to do it. You cannot let federal judges stop you from sending out illegal alien terrorists that are in our midst. You cannot let federal judges stop you from getting them out of our country. Put the carrot out there. We'll pay for your, the good guys are going to leave. The good guys, the illegal aliens that want to come back are going to leave. Buy them a plane ticket. Buy them a bus ticket. Pay them to leave, to go back to their countries. They had a long journey here. Hope you enjoyed your vacation in America, but it's time for you to leave. The vacation's over. Get out. Here's your train ticket, plane ticket, whatever you want to call it, your bus ticket back to your home country. See you later. If you don't leave, we're suspending habeas corpus. And if you don't leave, we're going to assume that if you're an illegal here, that you have ill will for our country. And you won't like what happens to you under the habeas corpus. Because we will find you and we will get you out of our country. I want to feel safe again. I want to feel safe for my children to walk the streets again. Nobody feels safe right now. You shouldn't feel safe right now because any illegal alien terrorists can get in a car and go anywhere in our country. And they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. They're here to harm us. Get them out of our country. That's it. Those are the two tracks. The first track's going to win because we have the creator of the universe on our side. Hello. Hello. Get on our track, baby. Get on that first track. Make the world better. Make it a better place. Have a great weekend. I'm going to go watch Jake's Leg tonight at Busch Stadium. Come down and join us. I think the concert starts at 5 by Jake's Leg. It should be a great evening. And we will end it. Let's see if I can find one more Grateful Dead song. I may only have two down. No, I know I've got St. Stephen on here. U.S. Blues. Oh, my gosh. Where's my St. Stephen? Hey, Justin, where's my St. Stephen? Oh, I don't see it. What? Oh, I see it. And we'll end it with the Grateful Dead. Have a great weekend.